Sup? Good evening. Hello. How are you? How's it going? Welcome to Sucio Sports, episode 24, presented by Jail Blasters. See, it worked better when Keyz is here. Because there we go. Yeah, there we go. It worked better when he's here because it's easier for me to remember what direction to point when he's like right there. So when Keyz ain't right there, I'll be like, be finding it hard to which direction to point in or whatever. But episode 24 of Sucio Sports presented by Jail Blasters, our wonderful sponsor. Just there's a lot to get into this week. A lot. Waiting on Keyz to pop in. He had a look, there he is right there.
Daddy's home for me.
Man, what the fuck?
How you gotta come in?
Hey, we need to start doing that from now on. Like, if you're gonna pop in the live singing, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, this might be our new thing.
Just
hey man, we might have to start doing that.
good people. Hello. Oh, hold on, I'm loud. Shit.
Wait, I gotta do the social stuff too. But yeah, man, like I was just telling everybody, like you was finishing up a couple of things. You was about to pop in, and then literally as I finished saying he about to pop in a second, boom, bam.
Oh, hold on. I'm gonna turn the echo up. Oh shit. Hold on, man. I'm gonna get this right one day.
Huh?
Nah, I turned the echo up. I could hear that shit in my ear. I was like, am I in a hallway? Hey guys, how's it going? How's it going?
And stuff?
Yeah, still adjusting.
Yeah, it'd be a pain in the ass sometimes, bro. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
Blessings, everybody. How y'all doing, man? How's everybody doing on this fine Tuesday night?
Man, it's crazy. Like sometimes you having like you have like them little moments where you don't really feel like yourself, but you know you got shit to do.
Right.
Like, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Like, I know I got a lot of shit I gotta do, so let me just go ahead and push through. You know what I'm saying? Just it don't make no sense to, like we talked about last week. You know what I'm saying? Like, cry about it, take your moment, get it out, and then keep it pushing. Cause ain't nothing else you gonna do. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like you could really do a whole lot to affect it or to impact it or what have you. But I know it's sometimes, man, where you just feel like it should just be overwhelming sometimes, and you just need a break from everything. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how it be. So, I mean, it is what it is. Welcome in everybody that's popping in. Appreciate y'all for coming in. Like I said, episode 24 of Sucio Sports presented by Jail Blasters with myself, Jermaine Every, and Keyz, my wonderful, illustrious co-host.
It's our Kobe episode, man. 24. Ken Griffey episode.
We had our Mike episode last week. We got our Kobe Jr. episode this week.
Our Ken Griffey. Who else had 24?
Hold up, let me send this to my mama before she. Yeah. But what's crazy, like when she called me last week, it was some shit. And I already knew when she didn't respond to the text and everything. I already knew like what it was, you know what I'm saying? So I was just like, I had to finish the show. But the whole time on the back of my head, I'm like, I already know what this phone call about to be like.
Something bad.
Yeah. So, because she didn't text back and she didn't laugh, react to none of the texts or nothing like that. Man, so I called her back and she was like, yeah, your grandpa passed away. I was like, what? I was like, fuck. Like, but it's one of them things where like, you know, something gonna happen, you just don't know when. And it wasn't like he was in real bad health or nothing like that, because he was just like, he had just got his hair cut and stuff. He was happy watching the Pelicans eating cookies, like literally earlier that same day. So he was just chilling, like talking about the Pelicans and how good they played. And he was happy Zion and then was finally getting on the same page. They've been playing good since the All-Star break and shit. And then boom. But I mean,
Man.
it is what it is. He ain't suffering no more. He in a better place. Funeral Friday. So I got to go down there. Already talked to Sloan and everybody else and whatnot. So that's how my week has been since last week.
Well, first off, condolences, man. That's tough.
Appreciate it.
That's tough. When you told us after, I was like, we on the pod the whole time, just laughing, doing work, doing what we do.
Yeah.
And man, life, man, life
is.
I mean, I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and I was just telling her. I think we all said it too last week. Mm-hmm. It's crazy because we did have this conversation last week with Dre, where I was like, it's crazy that as we're getting older,
mm-hmm.
so are our elders. And it's like, you forget that, they get to that point where, whether it's natural causes or, sick or something, but it's still, It's like, we forget as we're getting up there, so are they.
Right.
So,
right.
I definitely try to take my time now to like, the ones I have left, like my grandfather's still here, my grandmother. I think I got any great grandparents left. A couple aunts and uncles. Like I try to like cherish the time with them, like because you like you said, you never know when that morning they good, that evening they fine, that night.
Right. You just never. You really never know. And the crazy thing to me is like I always want to make sure that I'm like open, available, present, what have you. And like right before football season got started, before I lost my other side gig, and I knew I was going to be busy all football season because I had 2 of them at that time. I knew I was going to be busy. Like I knew what was going on and everything. So I was like, let me go down there and see them before I get too busy. Well, then, lose one side gig and it's like, okay, I'm not as busy. So like between Christmas, New Year's, I went down there again.
Mm-hmm.
Went to go see him, brought the kids with me and everything. And it was all happy and stuff. And the one of the crazy parts about it is, bro, like this is the grandfather that was still like up and stuff. Like my other grandfather, he's just in the bed or in his wheelchair. And he was the one actually placed on the home hospice. He's still kicking, cracking jokes, telling me about my bald head and all that hair on my face. You know what I'm saying? Like one of my cousins was like, man, I think he gonna outlive all of us. Yeah, I think you're right.
That's how it be, man.
Yeah, but that's how it be. But
was good really that he was in good spirits at the end though.
Yeah, he really was though, man. He was like my mom had said, he had got his hair cut like a couple days before and was happy about the Pelicans and shit. And when she had talked to him earlier that day, he was eating his cookies. So he was chilling, you know what I'm saying? Peaceful. Just one thing led to the next, and then that was a wrap. But the crazy part about like tonight, Keyz always normally picks out the intro song most of the time. I don't listen to it just to keep it fresh, just to get my natural reaction, right?
This one,
he sent it to me. I click on it, I pull it up, and I see my cousin's name, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, okay, bet. Like, this is a perfect way to kick off this episode.
Perfect.
Because, like,
family.
The way me and Billy are related is through my grandfather that just passed. And his dad and brothers are cousins with my grandfather. They're cousins. That's how we're related. And they recently got one of the main streets uptown where we're all from named after them. So that ceremony is supposed to take place like within the next year, 6 months to a year or so. It depends on the city of New Orleans. They move slow down there, so who knows. But I remember talking to my grandfather about it, and he was like, "Yeah, that's something else." He was like, "Man, they're gonna have a street named after him. That's something else." He was just really proud, really excited about that. You know what I'm saying? So that was a big deal to him. But I'm at least glad that he got to see it come to fruition, because it's something that the city of New Orleans has been talking about for a long ass time, trying to honor the Neville brothers in some other kind of way. And they finally
I was about to say, you might want to tell them that famous family you and Billy are a part of, which is
yeah, man.
crazy, which is so
So
crazy. One of my
I
aunts is
saw,
a huge Aaron Neville fan. Like, I
yeah,
grew up listening to his music. So
yeah.
meeting Billy and then finding out that's his people's, and I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, man. It's what up, Darius?
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy because like um I can't remember who it was, man. It was somebody was saying something about the Neville brothers or something about their music or something like that. And they was like, oh no, it was like trying to tell me, like, no, they did this, and I was like, nah, that don't sound right. I was like, you know what, hold on one second. Mom, yeah, what did such and such, Big Cyril and Aaron and them do? She was like, oh, it was such and such. She was like, let me call so and so. I'm gonna ask her and I'll find out for you. I was like, all right, bet. Click home the phone. It was like, wait, you was serious? You're like, y'all really like, yeah, like what you call it? I want to say it was some of their daughters, whatever, went to school with my mom and them. Like we literally all grew up together. Matter of fact, Billy's older brother, Lil Cyril, and my uncle that passed away, Mike, they was like best friends. And so that day when me and Billy reconnected in the space and I DM'd him, I sent him the picture of me, his brother, and them at my uncle's wedding, because his brother was my uncle's best man. So, and I remember him like, it was I like when we reconnected and everything, he just had a birthday, and I realized he's not that much younger than me. When we were growing up, I thought he was like 5-10 years younger than me. I was just freakishly large, and he was not that large, and so I thought like, oh, he must be way younger than me, but he really not. But yeah, man. So Susio Sports, we like to kick it off with a song to begin with. Hold on, let me make sure I got the volume up on the song first.
With a rowdy rendition.
Yeah, because you know, last time I ain't had the music or where it's supposed to be, but I got it up now. I love this intro. Oh shit! I'm literally watching the video like as the
Goes
song.
around, always come back around. Yeah, they had you fucked up, now they know now. Can't be moving too fast, gotta slow down. Don't hold on to certain shit, just let it go now. I'll be a fool to let them come mess up the wave now. Spent some time on the side, I couldn't wait around. So at home, I appreciate you still around. Can't get on any vibe, bitch, I'm still around. Yeah, they probably can't imagine, can't you know, son? Don't mistake the new one for the old one.
Bro.
Hold on to toxic shit, I let it go.
Oh, he brought out the old school.
So you haven't watched the video?
No, bro, I told you I don't watch it.
No. So I assume, I don't know why, but I assume this one you watched the video or seen it.
No, I haven't seen this one.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen this one. I saw like a part of it, and something happened. I got busy at work, never finished watching.
Goes around, always come back around. Yeah, they had you fucked up, now they know now. Can't be moving too fast, gotta slow down. Don't hold on to certain shit, just let it go now. Be a fool and let them come mess up the way. Now spend some time on the side.
Yeah, I rock with this
one.
Oh yeah, definitely like this one, man. Definitely like this one, bro. Like I'm digging this one for sure. Like yes, for sure. Really feeling that one, man.
I told Vil when he had sent it to me when he dropped it. When he sent me the song before he dropped the video, and I told him I liked it. It had that smooth, chill vibe to it,
bro. But the thing is, though, like when you listen to the song and you look at the visuals to go along with the song, it fits it. And like the first time I tried to watch it, I watched like the first 30-something seconds or so of it. And I was like, okay, I like this intro. And then like that one cut where it's like he drunk, like stumbling, and they do the little camera effect, the little after. I was like, oh shit, I like this. And then I think I got a call or something, and I had to like pause it, click off of it, and go back to work or whatever. And I never end up going back to it. But man, I love that one. I love that one though. But dude is talented, like
man.
and he been playing instruments, bro, since like literally like he could pick up an instrument. Like that dude been playing. Like, and I mean not just, oh, look at this little kid, he's playing. No, like he been playing like better than most grown people, professionals playing since he was a little kid. So I know anything he put out gonna be of quality. But yeah, man, we got a lot to get into, bro.
Yeah, it's a good weekend.
It's been a crazy week, been a crazy weekend. I mean, it's
crazy 48 hours. Well, I'll say 24. I ain't gonna say 48. Crazy 24.
Man, it's been wild. It's been wild.
Friday, we had some good boxing Friday, some good UFC on Saturday. We had another fight on Sunday. Lots of fights this weekend,
bruh,
man.
Tell me why it took me like a split second to get what you were saying. Then I was like, oh, what he talking about? Man, oh, okay, bet.
That third one wasn't supposed to happen, but it happened, and we're gonna talk about it. We gonna talk about it.
We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it though. But nah, like
that third one I look at different than a lot of people look at. A lot of people they on this side with it. I'm on the other side because I figured
you was going. And this is why I'm glad
I liked it. I personally liked it.
Talk about it until now.
Like I
like to talk about it till now.
I liked it. I'm gonna just say that.
Get into
I personally liked it. I don't think nothing was wrong with it.
The crazy thing about it though is like when we looking at all this action, all this flurry of activity and whatnot going on. And I mean, fuck it, we can start with the fight. We don't got to start with the other fights. We can start with this one.
You know what? We can go there. Now that I think about the rundown, we can go backwards because the first topic is the longer one, so we can get into that one last.
Yeah, we gonna
that works,
bro. So the third fight Keyz is talking about
was, LSU in South Carolina.
Yeah, the women's teams.
Them girls, great game. I missed most of it because my baby had a game on Sunday, so I kind of missed it. But I got back home for the
end out. Give them that stat line quick.
She had a good game. She had a great game. My baby had about 9 rebounds, no points, all defensive game. They did lose 12-10, but she played amazing. My girl was hooping. Her last game this Saturday, so I told her we at least got to score. We got to get. We ain't scored all season. I was like, I need one. I just need 2 points, a free throw, a layup, a jumper, something. I just need one. Give me one.
Yeah,
I'd be happy if she didn't, but I'd be ecstatic. Boy, I'm on the court if she scored. Boy, I'm running.
Yeah, like what's funny is, man, like I when you told me that you was watching the game back and she wanted to watch it with you, and then you was just pointing out some stuff and she like picking up on it and everything, I was like, bro, that I swear that reminds me of like how me and Maddie are, because like we'll be watching something ever since Maddie was really little. Like she'd be watching football with me and stuff to the point where she would go to class in high school. Now she's a senior, about to graduate, thank God. But one of her teachers is a DB coach at the school. She would watch film with him and study stuff and kind of help him out and whatnot. And you know, it's them daddy-daughter things, man, that lead to those little moments and stuff, man. That should be dope as hell because you just never know, like, when you're going to get those little moments, so you take them when you can get them. But getting back to the game and everything, it was a kind of a back-and-forth game, kind of tight. South Carolina really had the momentum going towards the end of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I went back and watched Sunday evening. It was a lot of basketball on Sunday too. It was like Sunday evening. I went back and watched it. Actually, yeah, night. It was night because I watched it. The USC and Stanford game came on right after that, and I watched
Yes.
that. Really
Yes.
good game.
Yeah, I watched part of that one also.
I'm gonna talk about that one after we get into.
But it was right at a little over 2 minutes left. South Carolina was up by 7. They just got a steal on Flau'jae Johnson, and she intentionally fouled the girl, to not give up the fast break or whatever.
Which was fine.
And it got a little chippy or whatever because, the way she had to try to grab her or whatever and everything else. And then another girl walked by and like shoulder checked her. And she like, kind of elbow pushed her off of her. And the girl was like talking, Flau'jae is walking away from her.
Here comes.
And out of nowhere, 6'7", 6'8" Camila Cardoza just comes charging at her and like, just full two-handed, shove.
She got a fine too, boy. That little girl. She came in with the
bruh.
I'm talking about family came across the joint. It was crazy.
She reminds me of old girl that went crazy, kind of racist on the Nigerians. Cambridge.
Oh, Liz Cambridge.
She reminds me of her.
So her game is a little bit like Liz's, to be honest. She's physical, she's tall.
Here's the thing with Cardoza. Cambridge looks like she's a little bit thicker than Cardoza. Cardoza to me looks like she moves around a little bit better on the defensive end.
I don't think Liz is thicker. Liz might be taller though. I think
Cardoza is actually listed at 6'8", and Liz is listed, I believe, 6'7", and then Liz is like 6'8", if I'm not mistaken. I'll look it up right quick. But yeah,
Liz looks leaner, and it's probably because she's also been into modeling, so she's been slimming down some. But yeah, man, before we get into like what happened after the push, I'm fine with everything that happened up until the push. Even with the push, I'm a little bit fine with. I do feel like Cardoza did a little too much. She escalated the situation. That's why she got ejected. That's why she got the first round ban once the tournament starts next week, which is going to be huge for South Carolina. We'll get into that probably next show.
Okay, so Cardoza is 6'7" and Cambridge is 6'9", actually.
Okay. That's what I thought. I thought Cambridge was like a
she's 6'9". I couldn't remember exactly how tall she was, but I knew she was.
Basketball is. They always give you that extra.
Right.
But I was fine with all the chippiness because if you've been watching women's basketball, women's college basketball I'll just say year since last season, you ain't even got to go back further than that. So, and with them being in the same conference, LSU and South Carolina have been going at it. The coaches, the players, all of it. You got the freshmen coming in. You got the players who transferred in. They just automatically put that shit on like a coat. Like I'm here now. I got this on I got, the LSU Tiger on me. I got the South Carolina Gamecock on me. Like, all right, I'm a part of this rivalry now. And I love it because a true rivalry is going to have that. And that's a lot of what the coaches were saying in two different ways. I don't think anything either coach said was wrong for me personally. A lot of people didn't like the way Kim Mulkey, at least in the presser, how she handled it. And I think it really started turning into black coach, white coach type thing again. And I really hated that. I just think it was one coach that was super fired up. Because her player, the attack was on her player. Right. And you got another coach that was like, we won though. Like that's kind of what I got from Dawn Staley with the whole thing. It's like, we won. I lost a player, but we won.
What I got from it was like, honestly, Dawn Staley didn't like the way that looked at all. Because above all else, she's a black woman. And these females that were involved were all minority women, right? Cardoza, I believe, is Brazilian. But it's like all these minority women who look just like her, who go to her school or the opposing school, whatever it is, I think she saw it as, I don't like the way this looks for the game of women's basketball. I don't like the way this looks for either team. I don't like the way this looks for, whatever. But it was like she didn't want to be a part of that. And especially because it was her player who did the pushing.
Mm-hmm.
They won cool, but it's like, damn, my player did whatever. And I think Kim Mulkey was just like fired up because her player got pushed. And it was just like, I bet you she wouldn't have done that to this person. And it was just
and I think it was more or less like, yeah, they looking at the height thing.
Yeah,
like Kim
that's
was more or less
really
like
was.
Kim was more or less like, you did this to Flage because she's smaller than you, but y'all don't do that to Angel. Y'all don't buck up on Angel like that. Y'all don't jump in Angel face, which is true. They don't. It's only a couple girls I see that are just like, bro, I beat her big ass. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but the rest of them, they kind of back down on Angel because Angel from Baltimore, man, she crazy.
But you look at Cardoso, and Cardoso's 6'7", Flaugier is 5'10".
You know what I mean? Like, you came in like,
Angel's 6'3".
Now I'm gonna tell you the part about this that I didn't like was what happened after the push, which was Flage's brother coming down and coming over the scorer's table onto the floor. There were a couple other family members. I'm not sure if they were Flage's or just some of the other players that came on the floor also. That's the part I did not like. I feel like because it was one, as a guy, is basketball, right? I get it. Your sister gets pushed, but your sister got pushed by another girl with a bunch of other women around on her team that had her back. So
and
you
the
weren't
coaching
needed.
staff.
And the coaching staff. Like, I can see if it got crazy and your sister got hit with a chair or something. None of that happened. So and her brother didn't get involved. Like, they kind of got him as soon as he came across the thing.
Right.
He apparently he did get arrested for doing that. I'm not sure. I forgot what the actual charge was. I don't even know if it'll stick. You know what I mean? But I do feel like that's the part where it was like, until it gets too crazy, and I've heard some people say you don't wait for it to get crazy, you get in before it gets crazy. I understand that. I also understand that side of things. But I just feel like the family coming on the floor, that part was too much. It just, because it turns, anytime fans, and family is fans too, and anytime fans start crossing the line, it reminds me of the Malice at the Palace, and nobody wants that. You know what I mean? Like, the fans, a lot of people who've never watched any of the video back or the documentaries or anything, the fans actually escalated Malice at the Palace, not the players.
They were the whole reason why the shit started in the first place.
It was really the fans or the players throwing stuff onto throwing stuff at the players. There was an NBA game 2 weeks ago, and there was a fight that broke out. And I don't know how many people caught it in the video. I can't remember what teams it was, but there was a fan that threw something at one of the players. Like, he took that as an opportunity to throw something at the Miami players. But the crazy thing, nobody reported on it because I don't think anybody really paid attention. Security kind of got on him.
This just happened. This also happened on Sunday as well. Goddamn, thumbs up. In the Duke Carolina game.
I ain't gonna lie.
Carolina won.
Carolina was doing too much. They were doing too much, man. I get that too. It's a rivalry.
They just barking back at the crowd, waving by, and they started throwing drinks.
I'm gonna be all right. So I'm a Duke fan.
That's because you're a Duke fan.
I would have threw it too. See, I would have threw it too. Hey man, Carolina was doing too much, man. They were. Man, fuck the Tar Heels. It was a good game. That was another one that was a good game this weekend. That Duke Carolina, it gave me exactly what I knew. Carolina, I still don't think, even though, and it's crazy to say this, and I'm not saying this as a Duke fan, I'm actually saying this as somebody who watched. I still feel like, even with losing both of those games, the first meeting and the second one on Saturday, I still feel like Duke is the better team. I feel like we'll get them in the ACC tournament, and then going into the NCAA tournament too. I honestly do. I think we'll get them. We're gonna see them in the finals of the NCAA tournament. But
yeah,
well, I mean,
man.
no, this was the ACC tournament. Sorry.
Yeah, it's gonna be a
I
good
don't know.
matchup.
Next year is gonna be different because
It's gonna be a good matchup if they should happen to meet in the tournament.
Cooper
But
Flag is coming. Hey, that recruit, I'm not gonna lie. John Shire just did some. He did some Coach K recruiting. That class he got coming in, crazy. Best freshman class in the country. And they are saying, as of right now, it could be the best freshman class of all time coming into an NCAA school. That's what they're saying. Even better than Michigan's Fab Five, which technically nobody knew they were going to be like that at first.
no, that Fab Five.
That Fab Five was like that.
That Fab Five was, and everybody knew they was gonna be like that because I remember 90. What? 2? I can't remember when it was, but when I remember when they was coming in, it was a shitload of hype behind them. And I'm looking it up and I'm like, back then you had to actually go to the store and get a fucking magazine to see the recruiting rankings. You couldn't just pull it up on the internet. You had to actually go and do research on this type of shit. So I would just go down to the magazine place, the bookstore or whatever, and just sit in there and just read all the magazines and stuff. And that's when I realized, like, wait, these guys are like really, really fucking good. Like, I knew Chris Webber was like a McDonald's All-American. It was like there were a couple of them were McDonald's All-Americans. I think all of them were actually.
I believe all of them were.
And that's kind of like when I had an inkling of an idea how good these guys could actually be when I saw how highly touted and recruited they were. And then just seeing that come to fruition, man. And then now, all these years later, people comparing this group that Duke has coming into the Fab Five, and I'm like, nah, bro, y'all really got to do something in order to put yourselves on par with that Fab Five, because that Fab Five made it to back-to-back championship games, back-to-back Final Fours as true freshmen and true sophomores. And then even after C-Webb left, after his sophomore year, their junior years, they were still good. Jalen left, and then when Jackson, King, and Jawan were the last ones left, their senior years, they were still good.
Yeah.
Like, those guys carried that program for 4 years and turned that program completely around, because before that, it was the Ramil Robinsons and whatnot that had Michigan, that had that like title run in like 88, 89, like a few years before. And everybody was like, okay, is Michigan ever going to come back there? Whereas when you look at Michigan after the Fab Five left, it was a lull, then you had a little boom, and then a huge lull again until just recently.
You'll have a player. You might get a player here or there, but
exactly,
Michigan turned into like straight football.
Right.
Straight football school.
Duke has stayed consistently good in a consistent
every year. We at least have
time.
We at least have 2 to 3 that are like 5-star lottery picks, and then but this class that's coming in, Cooper Flag could easily skip college and go straight to the NBA. The 7'2" Sudanese player that we just signed, again, another one could skip college and go straight to the NBA. Yeah. The guards that we brought in, like they have a starting 5 that's coming in that's going to be crazy next year. That if John Shire coaches them, gets them playing the right way, it's a champion. Duke's back. It's a championship year, and if he can talk them into staying longer and we talk about this every time we talk college, but the NIL, if they figure something out with that NIL at Duke, which I know they will, I mean, the alumni alone is worth so much.
Right.
The school itself is worth so much. So it's like with that NIL, they figure out a way to keep them guys together at least for 3. You give me 3 years with all of them, because the NBA is going to be calling after their first year. It definitely is, barring any injuries. Cooper, the Sudanese player, like even the ones that people that are still there right now, it's gonna be nasty. I'm actually gonna watch next year.
I want to say, don't they have like where is it? I'm trying to pull it up right now, man. They got a freaking guard.
Hold on, I can tell you.
That one guard.
Basketball.
Anyway, I know you would be able to pull it up easier and you would know, but like going into like these next couple basketball seasons or what have you, I'm still hyped for men's and women's college basketball because they keeping it going.
Mm-hmm.
And the women's game has done a really good job of focusing in on these key ladies and making them stars and making them the focal point of their game. And then getting us interested in their stories and following them to the WNBA. And that's been the thing that women's basketball has needed for so long. They needed characters basically for people to get invested in and storylines and whatnot for people to get invested in. It's like a TV show or something.
In the last 2 seasons, that's what we've had. Like Angel and Caitlin last year.
Clark.
Iowa.
You got Juju Watkins coming into USC this year.
Let's talk about that real quick. Look,
you had Aaliyah Boston at South Carolina
draft number 1 draft pick last year.
But yeah, there were. It's just I love the way that they're trying to put an emphasis on making these young women stars. Early on, so that way we get invested in them while we're watching them play, because most of the time they'll play at least 3-4 years in college. Mm-hmm. So you get to watch them in college and kind of get to know them in their game and everything before they actually turn pro. And a lot of the times they're more popular in college because the women's college basketball is way easier to find than WNBA games sometimes. WNBA has been on ABC and ESPN consistently, but
ESPN too a little bit. And
but I mean,
some NBA TV, but
we see women's college basketball being more prominently featured on ESPN
the last 2 weeks. ABC,
Fox, and whatnot. Like we see it featured on different networks. Real easy to find because.
And to be honest, I love like you were saying about the storylines. That brings me back to how Sunday was. Like, I like the feistiness. I love it. I think that's what women's basketball is missing. That part of the basketball where everybody wants them to still be ladies and women. Where I'm looking at it like, no, you a hooper, you a baller. Mm-hmm. Like once you are on that court, that girls, even though you're playing with all women, for me, you're playing with other ballers. I'm one of those guys. Like, if there's a girl in the gym hooping with us, I'm not taking it easy on her.
No,
you know what I mean? Like, because if I don't, she about to give me 30.
She about to bust my ass.
And what's not gonna happen is y'all not gonna laugh and joke at me because I done let her give me 30. And then what's the first excuse I'm gonna give? Man, she a girl, man. I let her shoot. No, nigga, I'm D'ing her up. Let me get that. Blocks.
If she in the gym with us or at the park with us in the first place, I know she ain't scared. She may not have no game or nothing like that, but she ain't scared of shit because she out here balling with men. That's first. Number 2, she probably got game because she wouldn't come out here and play with all these dudes if she didn't. That's number 2. So just going into it, you got to understand this woman ain't scared of shit and she probably got game. So don't fool with her. So a lot of the times I be seeing dudes and they be like, man, they ain't that good. And high school team could probably beat them. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just want to see one of you weekend warriors try to guard somebody like a Juju Watkins. I just want to see you try. Because I'm telling you, she gonna give you buckets.
And Stanford did a great job of shutting her down first half on Sunday.
Held her to 2 points.
The crazy thing was, and USC was still up big before she even scored that first free throw.
Bruh. That's before the first free throw. Her name? Mackenzie Forbes went off.
Forbes was balling. That was I enjoyed that game on Sunday. I really did. That was that one is another one, a really good game. Juju came alive in the second half and she got hers. Forbes carried the team majority of the game because, again, Stanford did a really, really good job of shutting Juju down and making her the focal point of their defense, which was smart. Make her the focal point, stop her, make everybody else score.
Yep.
because a lot of people forget that USC has other players, other scorers. What would they?
Right.
Would you say they were calling them? Juju and
Oh, that's right. I got the text messages pulled up right now. Hold up.
Juju and the Ivies.
They call it
Because they have
Juju and the Ivies, and the other term they said was Juju and the Nerds at first. At first, it was the Nerds, and then they was like, all right, it's kind of offensive. We're going to call them Juju and the Ivies because they got 3 Ivy League transfers. I believe one was from Columbia, one was from Yale, and the other one was from Brown.
Yeah.
I believe it was Columbia, Yale, and Brown.
Yeah, I think Forbes
Columbia,
was from
Brown, and
Brown.
Oh, what was the other one? I want to say it was Yale, Columbia, and Brown, if I'm not mistaken. But like them girls balled. And I'm watching the game, and Juju only had 2 points. And I'm looking, I'm like, I know she don't have that many points. I didn't realize she only had 2 until they showed the graphic, like right at halftime or right before halftime. And I was like, wait a minute. And then they was like, yeah, such and such. And I looked at the score and I was like, nah, this can't be right. Maybe they missed a 1 or a 2 or something. She got to have at least, no, she only had that 1 little field goal, or was it 2 free throws? It was something like that. But what they were basically doing is, as she brought the ball up the court, they would have whoever was checking her pick her up right at the half court, or right just as they were about to cross half court, right? Then I think Dre said it was 91 for the Fab Five. I think you're right. Oh, you know what? You're right, Dre. It was 91 because I remember after the 93 championship game, that's when C Webb left. So it was 91, 92 when they came in. 92, 93 was their second season. Then C Webb left for the draft. Okay. I think that's how it lines up. But like they would pick her up, and then as she would like try to drive to the 3-point line, at least they would send another defender her way. Not a full double team, but like let's say if she's trying to go left, the defender on that side of the court would come up and step up to stop her before she could start driving. That would force her to get the ball out of her hands or to change directions or something. And the way they were basically doing is we're not gonna run a full double team at you. We just gonna spy you basically. It's kind of like how teams play defense on Lamar. They'll have that one guy that will just kind of spy Lamar and watch him and shadow him. That's basically what they were doing with Juju, but it was just like they were waiting to see which direction she would go in to see which defender the second defender they would send at her. And I love that strategy because it's something that I've seen employed against guys like Kobe, AI, Jordan. Like when you T-Mac, when he was running, guys on the wing that can score for themselves and create for others. That's typically how you defend a ball player like that, is you have to send a second defender at him and whatnot. So that's why you got to play him differently. You can't play him the same. So when they were employing that strategy and I'm seeing it work, I'm like, basically what they were doing between that game where she dropped a 50 piece on them in this game, they were just way more committed and gave more effort on defense, but it still didn't matter.
It didn't.
Didn't matter.
It didn't. The rest of the team stepped up. I think USC is going to be dangerous tournament time. It's a couple teams where it's like tournament time, they're going to get crazy. Utah, Notre Dame, South Carolina, Iowa, LSU.
I think they got the Pac-12 in there last year. I want to say they got a decent amount of women of teams that could potentially like make the tournament. Where is it? There was I thought they had the bracket challenge up already. Never mind.
No, because Selection Sunday is this Sunday coming up.
I went to the page thinking to look for the on the bubble stuff, but I forgot they don't have it on the ESPN. Don't have it on their homepage. You got to look for the articles and stuff.
Yeah,
but like when I look at like the women's game and the men's game in college basketball, the one thing that I still do love about college basketball is that they're gonna go hard.
Yeah.
They're going to go real hard just about every play because some of these guys know I'm not going to play anywhere else this is my last stop at high level basketball. This is my last chance to play on a high level.
Yep.
I just
some may go overseas, some
right.
not. I mean, realistically, not everybody's going to make the league. You're going to try out. You're going to make a couple summer leagues, but ultimately, you'll end up on a roster somewhere playing overseas, which is still really good because you're still playing ball. You know what I mean? You're still doing what you love, and you're going to get paid for it. You know what I mean? So like, it's better than a lot of times. It's way better than what you could be doing had you decided not to even go that route. So
man, look, shout out to my cousin Damian Johnson. Damian played ball and got a scholarship. Why the hell you from, Thibodaux, Louisiana, and you decided to go to school in Minnesota? I don't know. He went from the bayou, the swamp, to like the great Northwest, the great northern frozen tundra, whatever.
To get away from home and to see something different. A lot of times when people do that, where they go, when you go somewhere, that's like Frank from here, from Petersburg, going to Kansas. Even though Kansas basketball is like, for somebody from here to go there to play ball, major, huge, big shit. But it's still sometimes it's like Kansas, like that. It ain't shit out there. Like I've been to the University of Kansas. I've been out, that way. That entire state outside of Missouri, like it just ain't shit in Kansas. Like that entire area, like the Midwest is like that part of the Midwest is horrible. Oklahoma, Kansas, Nevada outside of Vegas. Like a lot of that is just horrible.
Yeah.
So,
but like he went up there, played ball in Minnesota all 4 years. Matter of fact, he was in camp that year LeBron went to the Heat. He was in camp with the Heat that year. LeBron decided to do the decision and all of that. Parlayed that, NBA training camp preseason experience into some overseas opportunities. And he played a few years in that same league. LaMelo Ball ended up playing in Australia. He played over there for a few seasons and then came back over here. He and his wife and the kids moved back to Minnesota, and he's a high school basketball coach up there now. Pretty successful. I'm not just saying that because we related and like that, but it's like he's doing pretty good with that program that he's coaching now. He's put a couple of kids in school and everything. So like I give him his props for that. But it's like, they play so hard on the college level. And a lot of the times I see the passion and the pageantry and the tradition and everything. The same thing we see with college football, we see the same thing in college basketball. You got the Cameron Crazies like we talked about earlier, and you see like Krzyzewskiville and stuff like that. You see there's this one school in the Northeast where they don't sit down until their team scores, and then when their team scores, they like storm the court over there. It's something crazy but it's just like little things like that about college basketball, bro, that like I just love the tradition. I love the like just the passion in the intensity in which they play with. But I mean, college basketball is we're gonna get into tournament time. This week is championship week, so after Selection Sunday, we'll have plenty college basketball to talk about. And I want to say the women's bracket is selected on Monday, right?
Nah, Selection Sunday it's this Sunday.
But is it for the men and the women, or do they do the women on Monday? Or they do the women on a different day, or do they do them on this? I can never remember. I'm gonna have to look that up. But whenever they do it, we're gonna bring it to you and we're gonna examine it. We're gonna talk about it, and we'll give you the inside scoop. If y'all hear me typing, that's because I'm looking it up, like legit. When is Women's Selection Sunday? Oh, it is Sunday. Okay. March 17th. Okay, so they still doing theirs on. Okay. It's all on the same day then. I couldn't remember if it was the same day, same time, or if
Oh,
it
it's
was
the
like
same. It's the same
different
day.
day. Yeah, it's the same day. I want to say they do them at like roughly the same time. It may be a little bit different, but like both of the brackets gonna be out Sunday night, pretty much. So next Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll have plenty to talk about. Because I want to say Tuesday will start the playing games. No,
Monday. No, Tuesday. Tuesday.
it's Tuesday. I think starts the
I
playing.
looked at. I had a blank bracket, and I don't know what I did with it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out, man. But
Yeah, but we'll
like,
probably, and more than likely, we'll probably do a because I think it usually Selection Sunday usually is around like 1 o'clock Eastern. So I'll more than likely I'll probably run a space that day.
Okay.
So that way, like we did during college football. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Hopefully it goes just as crazy as that one did. Every chance I get, every goddamn chance I get, I'm gonna bring that up.
Hey,
Shit.
man.
Every time.
That was, I think, even with all the coffee with Sloan and Rev, we had some pretty lit spaces. That one was like the most lit space we've ever had. That was the most lit space we've ever had, by far. Hands down, bar none. Most lit space ever. All thanks to the fucking what you call it?
Oh no, man.
Bruh.
That one space where Tasha and them cuss DJ out.
Oh, I wasn't there for that one. Y'all told me about it. I wasn't there for that one.
That was the space.
I wasn't there for that.
That Tasha, Faye, who else cussed him out that day? Swole. He caught a 3-piece. Oh, Lovely and Miss Jackson. I think he caught a 5-piece that day. Boy, that was a horrible day for him. He had the Holy Trinity cuss him out. That was
damn. I just looked at the cousins' text. They got a snowstorm out there in Denver. Supposed to hit Thursday, yeah. So my cousin was like, she hoping they could get out of there because they flights leaving all on Thursday. So I already know, like, when I drive down there, I'm going straight to my mama house. I ain't going uptown. I ain't going across. I ain't going nowhere. I'm going straight to my mama house.
That's
and
crazy.
Chill. Because I already know if one of them get their flight delayed or something like that, somebody gonna have to go get them. And my uncle, well, shit. My uncle gonna have to go do that because he already down there. Like, but they staying at my aunt's house on the other side of the city, across the river. So he got to leave and drive like 30, 45 minutes to go to the airport to pick them up. If I was to leave to go and pick them up, my mom stays about 10, maybe 15 minutes from the airport. But then I have to drive another 30, 45 minutes to go drop them off. And then drive damn near 45 minutes, almost an hour back the other way. Like, nah. I'm going to have to take one for the team on that one. I mean, I might do it. I don't know. They're my cousins. I love my cousins, but it is what it is. But nah, man. Like, if it's me and his hip bothering them, I'm gonna just tell him, fuck it, don't worry about it. I'll go do it. But nah, like, just the way it's all been going and everything. Like, I just feel like this season, I think we're gonna get a really good tournament.
Yeah, I think the men's and
both sides.
I think the men's tournament is a little more. I don't want to say predictable because I feel like we think it's predictable every year as far as the men's tournament, and it don't go the way we think.
Yep.
Last year the women's tournament was pretty much, we knew it was either going to be LSU, South Carolina, or Iowa. Especially coming down at the end, seeing South Carolina and Iowa playing each other. We were like, all right, they about to cancel each other out. And then that Iowa LSU game was exactly what we thought it was going to be. LSU getting it. Like, I'm gonna be honest. After what happened Sunday, I honestly think it's bad for South Carolina again. It's bad because LSU is gun now. LSU is gunning for them. Now Iowa's playing. It's not just Caitlin.
No,
it's not just Caitlin.
And the thing is, people
Notre Dame is playing good. Stanford looked good. USC is playing amazing. Like, this ain't easy this year, like it was last year. Last year it was just them three. I can honestly say I don't think there was a fourth team. It might have been, but
okay, wait. I thought Louisville had a chance in the tournament when they played Iowa. I thought they had a shot to maybe knock them
because
off.
Haley was still at Louisville last year.
They couldn't,
but now Haley is at LSU. So it's like,
wait, Anissa Morrow, who was another All-American, averaged 20 and 10 last year, is at LSU.
Yeah, it's
LSU has lost. I want to say they've lost 5 games this year.
5.
2 of them have been to South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
They dropped, I want to say, back-to-back games earlier when they had some chemistry issues and some other stuff going on.
Working out the kinks.
Outside of that, it's like one other loss.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that team, when they're on, they're on. And
they're dangerous.
Nobody rock with them like that.
And they're dangerous.
South Carolina.
South Carolina. Yeah.
That's it.
But that's why I said I think a third meeting with everything that was going their LSU is gonna come at them. Kim is gonna have them like the way Kim about to have them playing through this tournament. I feel bad for everybody. LSU is really gonna run through everybody now. They got a chip on I ain't gonna say it's a chip on their shoulder. It's more or less like they got a monkey on their back that they got to get up off now because you done lost to South Carolina twice. You done lost the SEC championship 2 years in a row.
Oh, so wait a minute. I thought my mom was texting me some random shit. Evidently, she was watching and said that Flau'jae Johnson's brother stepped on somebody as he was like at the scoring table, like hopping over.
Because that's what because if you look at it, it wasn't like he went around. Like, bro was coming over the scorers table. So, man, that, like I said, that part of that I didn't like. That was the one part about it that I was just like, nah. Like the rest of it was basketball to me. Like that's how it's supposed to be. It's 2 rival schools.
Yes,
I don't care that they women. Like they're ballers, they're hoopers, and they're
athletes. They're competitors.
Yeah, like the emotion and feeling of the game got the best of them, and that's what happened with Cardoza. It was an unfortunate situation. She is going to be gone for the first round of the tournament, which puts SC at a smidge of a disadvantage because a lot of their offense runs through Cardoza. That first LSU game.
Here's the thing though. Their defense runs through her, but their offense starts with that little guard, I can't remember if she's Polynesian or what, but that little guard, bruh.
Oh, Pow Pow.
Pow Pow, yeah.
Her name's Pow Pow also. Because you know the one at Utah, her name is Pow Pow. I don't think they related, but she's nice. Bruh. She is like that. Little Pow Pow is like that.
Wait a minute. Who is this little guard? Like, but you know what? If you really watch them play, and you remember Dawn Staley when she played, she reminds me like a lot of Dawn Staley.
Dawn was like that too. People forget. Dawn was like that.
It's really. I've watched a few of their games this year, and it's like the craftiness she uses to get in and out of situations and to get to the hoop and set her teammates up and stuff like that, and how much of a dog she is on defense, no matter if she's outmatched or what. It's just the scrappiness and the IQ that she plays with at that guard position, being only 5'8", 5'9", or whatever. That's how she reminds me a lot of Dawn Staley. But I mean, we had a lot of good men's and women's college basketball this weekend.
Yeah, it was a great week, great weekend for basketball. NBA has some. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't really watch a lot of NBA myself this last week, so I can't really.
I watched some. I wasn't really like just okay NBA. Whatever.
I did catch what was it? Lakers and Minnesota one. D'Lo going off of 44. LeBron was out. I caught that one.
Okay, I caught the tail end of that one Lakers game.
D'Lo crazy.
When was it, man?
It was last week.
It was that one when they came back where they was down by like 20 in the fourth quarter and came back.
The Clipper? Was that the Clipper game?
Yeah, that one. Bruh, yeah. I'm watching and I'm like, Wait a minute. They was down by, I think at one point they had got up to like 21, maybe.
They
It was like
walked, bro.
19, 20, 21.
They walked the Clippers down.
Bruh.
They
Every
walked them
time
down.
I look back up from, because at that point, the game was just on and I'm just watching it. And I'm like, I look down at my phone, look up. Oh, they only down by 12 now. Oh, okay. They probably still gonna lose this game because they ain't looking like shit. Look down on my phone. Oh, they only down by 8. Oh, okay. It was down by 4, and I was like, wait a minute, let me pay attention to this real quick. Then it was up by 4, and I'm like, wait a minute, how did this happen? Like, I'm watching the game, and I still can't figure out how they did it. Bro, I was so like stumped. I went back and like watched the replay of the game, just like towards the end, because I woke up in the middle of the night and it was still on. I was like, let me finish watching this and see what the hell happened. All it was, they really committed to the boards, committed to playing defense and closing out. And they just played smart, tight basketball down the stretch. Like,
that's really all it was.
That's really all it was. They didn't do like anything super significant or anything like that.
I'm gonna be honest though, and I've seen so many people say this, and I've thought it. I don't think I've outright said it, like as far as like tweeting it or anything. I may have retweeted a couple people that have said it. I know I love their statuses when they've said it, but Darvin Ham don't know how to coach this team. I don't know who's gonna be the perfect coach for us. I don't. I wish I did. Darvin Ham is great. I love him. I think he's a dope coach. I just think his way of coaching, he's a better, like some people are better head coaches. Some people are just better coordinators. Darvin Ham is better as an assistant coach, as a position coach, something like that. But head coach, I don't think so. Not for this team. Maybe it might work for another team, like Frank Vogel. Frank Vogel was good for us. Indiana, he want to, you know what I mean? Like you can be on one team, even players. You can be on one team and play one way. You go to another team and you're like amazing. You're excellent.
Right.
Or you could be excellent on this team and then you go over here and now you're just like, bleh. So I just don't think Darvin, because we're about to get Vanderbilt back and somebody else is coming back off injury. Oh. And I'm like,
isn't Christian Wood supposed to be coming back soon?
Yeah, it's not Wood though. It's another.
It's not. Dude. No, it's somebody else, bro. Dang it.
I can't even think of who.
I'll have to look at their roster right quick. But yeah, and it's like I'm happy they're coming back because we need Vandy, but it's like Vandy's coming back and Darvin Ham's not going to know how to fit them into the rotation. He's not going to know how to. I don't know. It reminds me of LeBron in Cleveland with Mike Brown. Isn't it what's his name?
Because Mike Brown
Reddish? Isn't Reddish hurt or is it Gabe Vincent?
Vincent, that's who it is. It's Gabe Vincent.
I know it was Gabe one Vincent. Of the guards, bro. Like I was like, wait a minute, it's one of these wing players or guards or something.
But it reminds me of LeBron in Cleveland with Mike Brown, man. Mike Brown didn't know how to coach. He didn't coach that team. He just was there. He just was on the bench. He got up every once in a while, got mad, showed a little emotion. Same thing Darvin Ham do. He get up every now and then, get mad, show emotion, show no emotion. Just got that stupid look on his face.
Bro, give him some credit, man. You got to give him some credit. Like Mike, to me, the things that Mike Brown did best in Cleveland was the substitutions and stuff.
Was practice. He was probably amazing in practice.
It was, but listen, it may not have been in-game adjustments and whatnot, but Mike Brown knew certain subs that he could put in there, certain guys he had to put in there at certain times that would work out a little bit better. And it wouldn't always be like he just knew to do it like instinctively.
Mm-hmm.
It would be like the other team would go on a run and they go down 8. He called a timeout. And he like, all right, bet. Y'all get in there with Bron and go ahead and run this. And then you would see like things shift a little bit and it'd be like, oh, okay, they're good. But then he would like leave that lineup out there a little bit too long. Like you
That's
got
what
to know when to push, when to pull, because sometimes you need your bench in there or you need that other lineup in there to give you that spark. And once you got that spark, okay, you need to revert back to your other lineup because this lineup can only take you so far. And if they're hot, they're hot.
And once you see them, the other team subbing a certain way, you gotta counter
Right.
sub it. It's a
You
lot
gotta
that goes
make
into it that a
adjustments.
lot of coaches, and that goes to football too. Football is the same way.
Mhm.
Like coaches, defensive coaches don't adjust to an offense the way they probably should all the time. An offense
Right.
doesn't adjust to the defense the way they need to. So it's a game. Every sport is a game of chess for real. Like
Yeah. But I like there's just gonna be sometimes, man, honestly, where the coach can actually do more harm than good to the team and the culture. I don't
yep.
think the Lakers are there. I don't think they're
No,
there.
because Darvin Ham's not a bad coach.
No.
I just don't think he's our coach.
And to me, honestly,
I don't know who our coach is anymore because
it's more the philosophy of the front office and what they've decided to surround AD and LeBron with. They needed to surround them with much better shooters than what they have. And because they haven't, it makes Ham look bad because he doesn't really have what he needs to put around those two guys.
I like the Spencer Dinwiddie pickup.
That was a great pickup. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm loving that. I think D'Lo is playing lights out right now since the trade deadline. He's pretty much showing everybody like I want to be here. I should be here. You guys should have never had me in the trade talks at all. So I'm fine with that and love it. Because I'm even looking at I'm looking at the East and West, and we were talking about this in Spaces last night.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back to something me and you have said. When playoff time comes in a few weeks, because we only got about 3 weeks left for the NBA season, maybe a month, about a month.
It's only
about 4 weeks.
Because they only got about 16, roughly. Everybody's got anywhere between 15 and 18 games left, roughly. So it's about 4 weeks.
Yeah, spread out between that 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think once playoff time comes, a lot of those teams at the bottom that are the veteran, really good teams are gonna, in a 7-game series, whether it goes 5 games, 6 games, whatever, even if it goes 7, are gonna take out those young boys. Only difference is the younger teams have better legs. I love Minnesota though. I think Minnesota is. I love like in the West. Minnesota is that young, scary team. I'm not scared. I wouldn't be scared of the Kings in a 7-game series. Regular season, they've been playing amazing. 7-game series, I wouldn't be scared of them. OKC, another one. Regular season, really great. 7-game series, not that worried about them. I think a team like Phoenix, if healthy, is going to turn it on playoff time. A team like the Lakers in a 7-game series are still dangerous. Denver is still that team, regardless of seeding, in a 7-game series. And that's really it out west. Pelicans too. Pelicans are another one, that 7-game series. They're going to be a really tough team because those younger players are now veterans. Now they've taken their punches. Out east is kind of the same. Even though out east, I'm looking at the Knicks, how I'm looking at Minnesota in the West. I think the Knicks are that scary team that can get a couple people out of there. But Indiana, the Knicks, Milwaukee, and Boston, that's that 4 in that semifinal right before the Eastern Conference Championship.
And see, the funny thing about it is, like we've talked about, more of the power of the East. I'll put it to you like this: the for sure things in the East come from the top. The teams you believe in the most in the West come from the bottom to the bottom. Because when you look at Denver, is the one team at one of the top seeds where we feel like, okay, this team is a complete team; they can probably take it. Minnesota is that team where we think they're ready for that next step. We're just not quite sure yet. OKC is the number 1 seed, and we just don't believe in them because we haven't seen them do it yet. But then you look at the 4 seed is the Clippers, the 5 seed right now is the Pelicans, then the Suns, and then the play-in teams are the Kings, Mavs, Lakers, and Warriors. So when I look at the Kings, Mavs, Lakers, and Warriors, whatever 2 of those teams come out of that and end up playing the Thunder, whoever is that 8 seed that plays the Thunder, I think that team, because it's going to be one of those veteran teams that we just talked about, has a chance to be one of them 8-1 upsets in the first round of that playoffs. And whoever that 8 seed is that's coming out of the West, I don't care who it is. Right here on this podcast, whenever we figure it out and they do the playing games, I'm going to put at least $5, $10 or whoever that 8 seed is to win that first round series, because I know it's going to have good value on it. I know it's probably going to be at least 3-1, maybe 4-1 odds I get on that. So if I say, fuck it, I'm going to throw $20 at it, I could come back with $80 or $100 just taking a flyer on a team that I feel like is a veteran team who has more playoff experience, even though they're going to be the 8 seed as opposed to the number 1 seed who's full of a bunch of guys who's barely old enough to buy themselves drinks. So it's going to be good. It's going to be real. I think the 2 playoffs, the one in the East is going to be, these teams are established and they have established stars and whatnot. The only lower seed teams I think at this point in time that have a chance to come back and do anything would be the Sixers, because they were one of the top teams, and with Embiid's injury, they fell back to the pack. In the Miami Heat, I will never count the Miami Heat out.
Bro, they've shown us every year that when nobody's talking about them, like I just said, I didn't even mention them, but now that you say it, I'm like, dang, I forgot that Miami be right there. I'm looking at Indiana, I'm looking at Milwaukee, I'm looking at Boston, and I'm overlooking Miami. Like, Miami don't be in the Eastern Conference Finals every year, pushing whoever's there to the limit, and they're the reason that the West is been winning. If you want to be real, Miami's the reason, because last year they pushed Boston. They pushed them.
They did. And
I don't think Boston had too much left going into the
finals. I thought the Heat could take the Celtics. And what ended up happening was, despite them playing great team defense and whatnot, they just couldn't get over the hump of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and what they provide. And then you look at that team, the way they retooled that team from last year to this year. Porzingis. You add a Porzingis and you add a Holiday. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what's crazy? Everybody laughed at Porzingis being added. They were like, man, he's not the same player that he was before in New York, and da-da-da-da. I'm like, nah, man. In that offense with that team, Porzingis has been sitting in Washington getting healthy. He was playing, but he
balled out last year. He balled out. And I didn't even realize that he was like right at like 18-9 or 20-10 last year. I was like,
on a Washington team that won't win it, but he was getting better. He used it as practice. So now look at him with Boston. He's healthy. He's playing better. He's the Porzingis that y'all wanted him to be with the Mavs. I wanted him to be. I loved him. And when the Knicks traded him to Dallas, I was like, oh, him and Luka together, that's gonna get nasty. I liked him and Luka better than I like Luka and Kyrie, because I'm like, 2 guards, that's cool, but a guard and a big man, oh yeah. Because I mean, you think about it like wrestling. I'm old school when it comes to basketball a little bit. The Kobe Shaq, the Iverson Dikembe, you know what I mean, having the guard big man, you have to have either a really dope wing player, and a guard, but you gotta have that big man. And
you look at the Manus and Tony Parkers with Tim Duncan as well.
Yeah, it's like you have to. A lot of teams that win the championships have that duo. Look at Denver last year, having the guard and the big man,
Murray and Jokic.
Yeah, even with the only thing that was different, like Toronto kind of had it a little bit.
You had like you had a new age big with what's his name, Siakam.
Yeah,
kind of like a 6'8", 6'9", long arm player, and then you had Kawhi, who was kind of similar but more of a wing or whatever. You had a bunch of tweeners on that team. Basically.
Yeah, it was.
And you
It
had
was that
Kyle
one was
Lowry.
different. The Lakers winning the COVID year was just weird because it was COVID year. It's an asterisk,
but they had a wing player in LeBron and a big in AD, but those guys could interchange because AD could go outside and LeBron could come in to the post.
Yeah, so
but when you look at teams like that, then you look at like the Sixers, for example. If Embiid is healthy, you got Embiid and you got Maxey. You look at the Kings, you got Sabonis and you got Fox.
I'm not gonna lie. If Embiid was healthy, 76ers would definitely make that whole Eastern Conference so different because again, I like Boston.
Turn that shit upside down if he's healthy.
I hate to say that I like Boston because I'm a Laker fan. Hate it. But Boston looks really good. I think Milwaukee is too finicky. I like Milwaukee on paper because of who they have.
Yeah.
And I guess the coaching. But on the other side, I don't like Milwaukee because of the coaching.
Again, I'm gonna put it to you like this. That's the main reason I don't like Milwaukee.
It's the coaching. It's Doc.
Yeah.
I mean, we've said it on here. I've said it, at least. Doc's still living off of Boston. Like Doc ain't did nothing since Boston. He has not. He's still getting these jobs based off his name, his reputation, what he's done, who he is, but he has not shown anything. He had a Clipper team that was ready, that was amazing. He should have at least got a Western Conference Finals, a Western Conference championship out of that team. Got nothing. Then you go to Philly. You have a really good Philly team. You can't do nothing. So you're telling me now with Milwaukee, because you have Giannis and you made a trade for Dame. God, I don't know what's wrong with me.
Damian Lillard.
Yeah. You made the trade for Dame that it's going to be any different, and it's not. I mean, you still got the same coach that had more and did nothing. So you're telling me he has less and he's going to do more? I just can't.
And
see
another
it.
thing is, to me,
I'm not down in another black man. I just want to also put that out there because I know how y'all like to create these narratives. He's just bad coach, in my opinion. He's bad coach.
Thank you for addressing that.
It's about coaching. He sucks. Just what it is.
I'm gonna put it to you like this. Not just that, but another thing, low key, like behind the scenes, is all the shit that they had with getting rid of what's his name in the first other coach. I can't even remember his name. But when you look at it, it was a controversy about hiring him in the first place and who they actually wanted to hire. Did they want to get rid of the other coach or whatnot? They brought this guy in, right? Supposedly, him and Middleton and also, I believe, Bobby Portis or whoever got into it about their minutes and stuff. And there was some stuff that you could visibly see on sidelines when they were arguing that, like, yes, it's an issue between the coach and the players. But then when you hear about how Giannis supposedly didn't want him there and Giannis was the impetus for him getting fired, and then Giannis comes out, oh, no, I love the guy. Man, that's bullshit, bro. Like, when you got that much, when there's that much smoke, there's fire. Basically is what I'm saying. And when you have a team like that who has that many issues with their coach and the coach gets fired and they bring in another coach mid-season and it's not somebody from off of that staff that they just bumped up to the head chair, they bring in an outside person, and not just an outside guy. We're talking about a guy who's actually won an NBA championship with a whole nother franchise, who's been a coach for 3 other teams, who's been an all-star player and whatnot. A very high-profile coach that you bring in mid-season to try to turn your season around. And he still can't really, like, get you back right because it started off so bad. Like, that team has chemistry issues and stuff like that that they're going to have to figure out on their own.
I feel like it would have been different if Dame came in like off season, but
early off season.
Yeah, like coming in middle of the it was just a lot. It was a lot. Who they gave up, they lost a lot of defense. It was, I don't know, but I like the team. I like, again, big guard. I like it. You know what I mean?
It was like right at the beginning of the season. Like it was what? Like September 27th. So it was like he really didn't have
like maybe a month before.
Yeah, it was like a month or so
season
before
started?
the season started. Like they didn't have very much time to get in there and like get this chemistry down. They didn't have a whole off season together or nothing like that. It was just like, okay, you got about a week or so, 2 weeks. We start training camp. You got about 2 more weeks, and then we got the season starting. So like you had about a month or so before the season started. And it's like, all right, get to know each other, build that chemistry. Here you go, roll the ball out there, go play. And like it don't work like that. And then when you bringing in a brand new head coach, and then you bring in a high profile player like that on a blockbuster trade a month before the season starts, and the players already have an issue with the coach, you asking for a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
And you basically got one, and your talent is just winning out right now. But I believe in those playoffs, that's where the Bucks are going to see their hardest test, because now the competition is getting better.
Man,
every possession matters more. And we all see that Doc Rivers is not the kind of coach that can make adjustments on the fly. And not even in a series, because this man is the only coach in NBA history to blow multiple 0-3 or 3-1 leads with multiple different teams. He's done it 3 times already. 3 times. Like, I'm just saying, like, just to kind of put a bow on the NBA talk before we get into the NFL, it's funny to me that people still have this blind faith in Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they've only broke through and made the finals and won a title once since Giannis has been there. Every other time, they've been a disappointment in the playoffs. Why do we think this year is going to be any different with a coach who's not very good in the playoffs?
It's not.
Just saying. So it's a lot to look forward to in the NBA. I personally still think that it's going to be Boston that's going to come out of the East. And I know that's the number 1 seed. That's the chalk. But I just feel like that team has so much going for them right now. And they're so talented. And not only do they have one of the better or best perimeter defenders in the game in Drew Holiday, but they also have a big man, Porzingis, back there to kind of disrupt shots and block shots and whatnot. And help out on the back end. So you got the front end, the wing of the defense covered, and then you got the back end of the defense covered, and then you got some really dynamic offensive players with Porzingis himself, Tatum, who's one of the better offensive players in the game, and Jaylen Brown, who's definitely working on his game as well. So it's like, and Drew Holiday is a pretty good offensive player. So you got this team, and they're very talented on both ends of the floor, not just one, but both ends of the floor. So I think it's going to be good to watch the NBA coming down the stretch, but that ain't what we came here for.
What? Hold on.
That ain't what we really wanted to talk about all day.
Because
we did all this other shit before just to get to the main course.
We forgot one thing. Hold on. Before that one, we forgot the potatoes right before the meat. Pause. There was a great combat sports weekend of boxing on Friday night and UFC on Saturday. Because those were the other 2 fights that we were talking about.
Okay, yeah, that was the real fight.
Yeah. Yeah. So Saturday, Friday, we'll start with Friday. Friday was very so first off, I totally forgot that there was a boxing event Friday night. So boxing has been really weird ever since Showtime and HBO have pulled out of boxing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know who's show so DAZN Sports, which I knew they would, has stepped up in DAZN Sports has stepped up really big with boxing. The Crown Prince has pretty much like just grabbed boxing. Like we got that. A lot of the biggest fights have been happening overseas. We're still getting a lot of them here because Eddie Hearn and them are still running boxing. It's just trying to figure out who's going to really promote it as far as like the pay-per-view buys and stuff like that. So it's really been all over the place. Boxing is at that weird place where, for the heavyweights at least, they're trying to grab some of the little guys into it, but it's getting a little cartoony. Like we got the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight coming up. So random, cartoony though. But it was a really good weekend. Joseph Parker getting the WBO heavyweight championship. You had Anthony Joshua whooping Francis Ngannou's ass.
Bruh.
Whooped that boy ass. He did exactly what Fury should have done in the first fight.
Yep.
But Fury played with him, and Ngannou almost got I ain't gonna say almost. If you want to keep it real, he beat Fury. He was 1-0 in my opinion. He's 1-1 right now. I personally think he beat, and I don't know why the judges went the other way. We said maybe because you can't have your perennial champion losing to a guy in his very first fight like that. Yes, you can, because he did it. He did it. But his second fight, AJ's on a mission. I also want to say that. I don't think it was Francis not being something but AJ is on a mission to get back what he lost. There's another big heavyweight card May 18th with Fury versus Usyk. Yes. Everybody says whoever wins that fight is getting
Anthony Joshua.
Anthony Joshua. It's weird because by Parker winning and having that WBO belt, his last two fights puts him back in the discussion. The weird part about the discussion now is, do you do him and AJ again? Because AJ demolished him and took that same very belt the last time. Or did Parker make a good case for him to get into that Usyk and Fury winner fight? And it's crazy because I feel like you have to do Parker and Joshua 2, 3, whatever it is. You got to run that back. You have to, because now they've pretty much lost and their paths are crossing again to get back to the big title. So, and the other part to that is Anthony Joshua wants Usyk. I think he pretty much knows Usyk is going to beat Fury. He wants that third fight with Usyk for the title, but then but at the same time, everybody also wants to see Fury and Joshua. It's a weird thing, man. It's so many different scenarios that are coming out of this for the heavyweight division, and I love it.
And I love the fact that all these guys are actually trying to fight one another and trying to.
Nobody's ducking. Well, I ain't gonna say that.
Really
I'm not gonna say that
because
like,
hey,
Anthony Joshua does not want Parker. He doesn't care about the belt that Parker has, because the WBO belt in wrestling terms is like the one Seth has, the world heavyweight title, or is that the world?
I ain't even gonna say that the WBO is like
no, it is. Everybody looks at it like it's the secondary.
Like the old school, the WBO title is like the old school WCW TV title. The old NWA TV title. Because it's like,
that's even worse.
We're gonna put this guy on TV. We're gonna give him some fights. He's gonna be on some Tuesday night fights, some Friday night fights. He's gonna be on some middle of the daytime stuff on a Saturday or something like that. But he's not gonna headline a pay-per-view. He may be on a pay-per-view, but he's gonna be in one of the first
fights.
I'm
gonna be honest with you. Watching that fight Friday, Parker didn't look good that beginning of the fight. What got him the win was how he finished in the championship rounds. Those last 4 to 5 rounds, he was a lot stronger than
Zhang.
Zhang.
I can't even. I know his last name is Zhang. But this is the thing.
Zahn was better in the beginning of the fight, and he was fucking Parker up.
But this is why the fight was scored like this. And the reason why he won on majority decision, one judge had it tied at 113. One judge had it Parker 114, 112, and the last judge had it 115, 111 for Parker.
Because those championship rounds, those last 4 to 5 rounds, he dominated.
But the thing is like
he lost the first 4 to 5 very clear. But those last 4 to 5, and then those middle rounds, it was kind of even. But those last 4 or 5 rounds, Parker was dominating.
And see, I missed this. And when you told us it was on, I was like, wait a minute.
Because I keep forgetting when they do stuff in, just like with WWE, when they do stuff in Saudi, it's earlier in the day here.
Yes.
Because it's later at night there.
And the thing was, I thought it was going to be on Saturday. So the whole time Friday, I'm not even paying attention. I'm thinking I'm going to get up tomorrow morning, figure out what time the fight coming on.
Hey man,
and
Facebook told, I'm not even gonna lie, Facebook told me, I seen a post and they were talking like my boy, a few of my homeboys are huge boxing fans. So like,
yeah.
I think it was TJ. TJ made a post and I was like, I commented, I said, that's the night. So I jump on the TV quick trying to find it, and I'm catching some of the undercards. I was like, God, I literally forgot all about it. So that was my Friday night, was just watching boxing, which was really good because the fights were good until that last one, boy. Joshua had he slept that nigga.
Real quick before we get off of that
get up
and get to the UFC, I saw a video breakdown and I retweeted it. It was very simple basic boxing defense and offense concepts that he used to knock Ngannou out. He was leading with the jab, and especially the jab to the body. Yep. And then he would follow that jab up or the jab to the body with a right, to the body or something. So naturally, Ngannou drops his hands, especially that one right hand just a little bit too much. And when Joshua went in, he went in clean because Ngannou had that hand drop. And as soon as he put that hand out there, it was like
that jaw.
He got smacked with it. And it was.
And I'm gonna be honest, it was that second. So he knocked him down once in the first round. In the second round, which is where it ended, he knocked him down twice. He was already shaky after that second knockdown, and his legs were a little baby. So that third one. That's how it was easier to put him down on that third one. And he slept him. It wasn't like he just hit him and he couldn't get up. He literally knocked him out. He was asleep.
I mean, cold.
He was down. Ngannou was down for a while. Even when at the end of the fight, him and AJ were in the ring talking. I don't even think Francis knew where he was, to be completely honest.
I think he was still kind of loopy, but he gave them enough of a sign to where they were like, okay, he can participate in the post-fight interviews and stuff. But you could tell like he was still kind of getting his, his full senses about him. Like he wasn't all there, but good fights coming up. We got that heavyweight, like you talked about. We got that one coming up, I believe. Canelo.
April 20th, we got Devin Haney and
Canelo is fighting in May. I want to say for Mexican Independence Weekend again. Around Cinco de
Canelo.
Mayo.
I'm about to say Canelo always
May 4th. It's actually May 4th. My bad, May 4th. Because the 5th is actually on a Monday or Sunday. I'm sorry.
Ooh, damn! Got to work on Monday. That sucks. You know what's crazy, man? St. Patrick's Day and Cinco de Mayo are two holidays that we all decide to be everything but the race we really are. It's so crazy. Because St. Patrick's Day come and I'm Black Irish that day. When when Cinco de Mayo comes, I'm Blexican. So I'm just, hey man, two holidays I love and I can get drunk. That's the way I look at it.
Hey, speaking of Irish though, Sean O'Malley put on a clinic.
He did.
Saturday night against Chito Vera.
Him and Dustin Poirier.
At UFC 299.
Him and Dustin Poirier put on some fights. Man. Bruh. It was good. I think the only fight I was disappointed in is that welterweight fight between Kevin Holland and Michael Page.
Yeah.
I wanted more from MVP. MVP got in there and played around. He won. He won by decision, but he played around, man. And I think that's his style, though. Also, anybody who's ever who watches MVP, like
I was just getting ready to say, he's a showman. He's a fighter, but he also brings the entertainment to the fight.
Yeah, and he did that. He did a lot of that. And that third into the second into the third round where he kind of knew he was winning. And Michael Holland couldn't do nothing. I mean, Kevin Holland couldn't do nothing with him. And he started the showboating and stuff like that. And I was like, man, knock him out. Like, if you're going to do all that, Start landing some bombs. He won't land.
But that's why he won it was unanimous decision, but it was 29,
he was hit.
28
it was
all 3 cards.
It was mostly because Kevin couldn't hit him. He couldn't take him down. He couldn't hit him. It was a lot. It was more defensive on Michael's side. And Holland just didn't. He looked okay first round, and then that second and third, he just didn't. He didn't look good at all. So, I'm trying to think. Did I watch? I watched the entire card.
I watched most of it, but I know
that Jan and Song fight. The very first. Oh my god!
I missed part of that one because I saw Curtis Blades beat Almeida, and then I saw Jan was about to fight Yadong, and I was like, "Oh, I want to watch this fight." And something happened, and I missed that one. And then I caught the next thing I was watching was MVP was coming to the ring doing the Undertaker.
Yeah, because I missed. First, hold on before we get to that, because that was fire. Yes. I did miss Burns and Medellina.
I missed that one too. Okay, so I missed 2 fights. I'm looking at the card right now. I thought I missed one. I did miss 2 fights because I saw the Blades fight. I missed the next 2, and then I saw the rest of it.
No, that entrance by Michael Page was hard.
Yes,
that Undertaker joint, and then it dropped into a different beat at the end.
Yes, and
right when he got to the cage,
everything else, and kind of danced to the ring and stuff.
That shit was hard.
That was dope.
Every time somebody does an Undertaker entrance, they do it a different way, but that shit is crazy.
But look, here's my thing, and I don't know how you feel about this, but this is just the way I feel. If you're a boxer or an MMA fighter, and you come out to that entrance music,
you gotta win.
You gotta win.
You gotta dominate. To me,
if you lose,
I think that's why I'm mad. I think that's why I was mad at MVP, because I'm like, bro, you could have you came out like,
bruh. Like, I'm thinking in Kevin Holland, he's like I say, the last few years, he's kind of taking some L's here and there. And I'm like, okay, is this going to be his redemption fight? Or is this going to be MVP's like coming out party for his UFC debut?
And that's what it should have been.
And that's what I think it was more or less his coming out party, but it was more like, oh, okay, I'm here, more than like, bitch, I'm here.
And that's how it should have been. It should have been.
That's how exactly.
Like I'm putting my foot, I'm stomping my foot like, yo, what's up?
Exactly.
I'm wiping my feet on the mat. I'm home.
Right.
It was just more like, hey, hey, honey, I'm home.
Hey guys, I'm here.
Hey,
that's what it was like. It was like, all right, we got you, we see you, but Dustin Poirier, bro, he was down. He that first round, he did not win that first round. The second round, I was like, all right, bro, what you gonna do? Like, we can't let this dude win this fight. And then out of nowhere, he just exploded, and it was over with.
Night. Night.
It kind of reminded me of the way Blades ended the Almeida fight. It was like you look, and then he catch him with one, and you think, did he really get him? And it's like, oh shit.
That's the beauty that I love about boxing, about UFC, is that it only takes a split second before you are laying on the mat.
No time.
And can't get up.
Yep.
Like whether UFC, whether it's a punch, a kick, a choke out, something it happens out of nowhere.
And the thing with the difference is with that fight, we saw that fight end pretty quickly, and then we saw the O'Malley fight go the distance. Was that Chito Vera has a chin made of granite or something? It's got to be made of granite, diamond, something really difficult to break. Because there was at one point O'Malley hit him with a knee. It wasn't like a running knee. It was just like he got him with a knee, like an uppercut knee, basically. And you could hear the knee connect with Cheeto's jaw. He didn't even move. Bro, all it did was it made him take like a slight step, a half step back, and then he kept coming forward. And O'Malley ended up landing like 200 and something significant strikes that fight, the most ever in that division's history in the UFC. Never knocked him down, couldn't knock him out. Like, Chito Vera is one tough ass dude. And O'Malley won all 5 fights on all 3 judges' scorecards. But still, it was just, I'm watching this fight and I'm like, okay, I know O'Malley is winning, but it looks like Cheeto is giving him a better fight than what it was.
Yeah, he was though. He actually was.
It was just he couldn't land enough. O'Malley landed, I want to say, like damn near 3 times as many strikes as Cheeto did, but it just didn't seem that way as you're watching the fight. But that was a great fight. The unfortunate thing is I want to say we talked about this last week before last. This pay-per-view looks like it's gonna end up better than 300 is.
Yeah, the card for 300 really ain't all that.
It don't look all that hot to me. It really don't. Like I'm not sold on it. I'm not. Alex Pereira against Jamal Hill as the main.
Willie Zhang versus Yanin
Justin
Gaethje
Gaethje
versus
against
Max Holloway. That's gonna
Nicole
be a good one.
Rundridge. Like I don't really.
That Oliveira fight is gonna be good.
I'm more interested to see what Aljamain Sterling does coming back, trying to get his featherweight title back in his first fight, or Kayla Harrison against Holly Holm, like Holly Holm trying to make a comeback. I'm more interested in those 2 undercard fights than I am the main event. The BMF title fight with Gaethje and Holloway seems more interesting than the main event. But I mean, it is what it is. We're gonna watch anyway. It ain't like we're not gonna watch. We're gonna watch it. It's just we just not gonna be as excited about it or anything like that. So I don't know what we gonna do, how we gonna get excited. Like it's gonna be one of the things where we're just gonna be excited for a UFC event just because it's a UFC event. It's a pay-per-view. It's something to watch on a Saturday night. That's pretty much how it's gonna go. And honestly, with some of these pay-per-views that we're not that interested in or not that looking forward to, if you just sit down and watch them, those oftentimes end up being some of your favorite pay-per-views to watch because you don't really like any of those boxers or fighters. You're not really a super fan of any one or the other or anything like that. You're a fan of the sport. It's a big pay-per-view. It's their 300th. You're like, okay, I'll watch it. But sometimes those are the ones that end up being like some really good fights that you'll watch. I've sat here numerous times, Tuesdays and Fridays when ESPN has boxing on and watch some of the Tuesday or Friday night fights. And I'm like, oh, dope, this is dope. Like, I'm loving this. Like, this is pretty good fights. I got a homeboy of mine, Jaron. Me and Jaron grew up together. And Jaron will tell me, hey, bro, like, you need to watch this guy, da-da-da-da. And I'm like, okay, when's he fighting again? He's like, hey, catch him on Tuesday on ESPN2 about 8 o'clock. All right, bet. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's somebody to watch. That's how I discovered Jared Big Baby Anderson, one of the up-and-coming heavyweights in the United States in heavyweight boxing. But it's a lot of times where you'll come across a pay-per-view like that or a card like that, and it doesn't seem that interesting, but it ends up being a very good card simply because it's some entertaining fights on the card. But he's had to pause for a minute, but we're gonna go ahead and start. I'm gonna start on the NFL stuff and the free agency stuff, but we're gonna really wait till we dig into it till Keyz gets back. But it's been a fast and furious first 2 days of NFL free agency. Now contracts can't officially be signed and executed, I want to say, until tomorrow after, I believe, is 3 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Central, something like that. But then the legal tampering period, and I say that with all unseriousness with these air quotes, opens yesterday at 2-3 o'clock. Legal tampering. Because to be honest with you, pulling back the fourth wall or fourth curtain or whatever you want to call it, a lot of the times, a lot of this legal tampering happens during the combine when a lot of agents, they're representing their players who are at the combine, are also there with teams who are scouting rookies for the draft. So a lot of the times you get a lot of that stuff those talks start way before they're supposed to, simply because all these guys are around each other in the same area. But just to go over some things, like I'll just say, like, the CBS Sports here has their top 10, or their top however many list of free agents. And you see some guys either changed, some guys stayed with their team. They either, signed an extension or got tagged. But you see a few of the top guys changing teams, like Kirk Cousins went from the Vikings to the Falcons. Danielle Hunter went from the Vikings to the Texans. Brian Burns got traded actually from the Panthers to the Giants. You had Christian Watkins go from the Dolphins to the Raiders. Saquon Barkley went from the Giants to the Eagles. Calvin Ridley is still out there. Kendall Fuller is still out there. Tyron Smith is still out there. Those are all the guys listed in CBS Sports Top 20 who have changed teams. Everybody else stayed with their same team. They either signed an extension or got franchise tagged. But is some of the things that kind of really interested me personally, because I'm here in Houston and I wrote for the team for a while before I no longer had that side gig anymore. Again, free agent. Holla at me. But a lot of Texans fans were upset that they lost Jonathan Grenard. They didn't bring him back. He ended up signing a 4-year, $76 million deal with the Vikings. Conversely, the Texans said, hold my beer. We gonna sign y'all's defensive end edge rusher to a 2-year, $49 million deal with $48 million of it guaranteed. Danielle Hunter took a bit of a hometown discount because one of my good friends, Swan, shout out to Swan, she is the biggest Texan fan I know, bar none. But she said that supposedly he was offered more money, but chose to come here on a shorter term deal, taking a little bit less money to come home. And also because he can probably try to get one last contract, at age 31, because he's 29 now, after that 2-year deal is up. This gives them an edge rusher that they were looking for to go on the other side of Will Anderson Jr.
Mm-hmm.
It also does not hamstring them from re-signing and extending Will Anderson Jr. or CJ Stroud or Derek Stingley, all who are eligible for extensions within the next 2 to 3 years or so. So that gave them a lot of flexibility and it filled a huge need. But one thing that really stuck out to me this early on in the free agency period was the amount of money that a lot of these defensive linemen are getting. And D linemen are starting to get paid like high-end wide receivers in the $20 to $30 million range if you're up there.
Yep.
Okay, because we saw Chris Jones get 5 for $160. We saw Matabuke get 4 for $98. Mm-hmm. Danielle Hunter got 2 for $49. Brian Burns got 5 for $150. Christian Wilkins got 4 for $110. So
that Burns one was the extension with the Giants, right?
Which one?
Brian Burns.
Yes, that was the extension after he got traded to the Giants. It was 5 years, $150. So we seeing a lot of these defensive linemen and some of the tackles even, Matabuke, Jones, and Wilkins, those guys primarily play tackle. Even though Jones gets moved up and down the line all over, those guys are primarily interior rushers. And they're getting in the 20 to 25, $30 million range now. So just seeing how the emphasis has changed from, okay, only edge rushers will get that money, to now they're looking at these D tackles and they're like, nah, this guy is way too important to our defense. He literally controls the middle of our defense, front to back. So it needs to start here and go on from there. So just seeing the money that some of these guys are getting, and then you look at the age of these guys. Chris Jones is 29. Matabuke is 26. Danielle Hunter is 29. Brian Burns is only 25. Christian Wilkins is 28.
Yeah, it's not like it used to be where, like, I know you say it to us all the time in the chat. Like, you're like, nah, this guy's 30. He's 31. Like, that's a lot of teams are not looking at it anymore the way they used to, where it was like a running back at 30 not going to get that money that he would have gotten at 25, 26. You know what I mean? Like a Chris Henry, Derrick Henry, sorry. Look at the contract he just got. He wouldn't have got, I mean, most people will be like, hey, he coming off injuries. He ain't really had that good of a season. But it's like
he's getting older.
Somebody sees the value. And yeah, he getting older, but Chris is still balling. Like we said about Mike Evans. Mike Evans probably could have went anywhere and gotten more money than what he got with the Bucks. He took a little hometown discount to stay with the Bucks on the 2-year, but he's been 1,000-yard receiver 10 straight seasons in a row.
I don't think he would have got more money somewhere else. I think he would have got about the same. I don't think because he got 2 for 52. I'm not looking at the details and the guarantees or anything yet, but I don't think he would have got more than 26 a year if he would have went somewhere else, to be honest with you, because
I think it depends on the team that would have. I guess you would have said,
I'll give you that. It would depend on the team. You're right, because we also look at a guy like Michael Pittman from the Colts, who re-signed for 3 years, $71.5 million. So it wasn't like he got a whole lot more than what Evans got, even though he hasn't been as productive. He's 4 years younger, but he still hasn't been as productive.
Austin Eckler, like you gotta, like I'm looking at it like that. Like a lot of these running backs and guys are coming off of injuries.
But the thing is, though, running backs don't always get valued the way they want to get valued.
I ain't gonna lie, it seemed like this offseason, I'm looking at it right here, not the number wise as far as what everybody was getting, because Derrick Henry got 2 years, 16 million deal.
Saquon got 3 for like right at 38.
And I'm looking at it, I'm like, yo, all these running backs that's moving, going different places. You got Derrick Henry with the Ravens now, Aaron Jones with the Vikings now, Joe Mixon out with the Texans now, Zach Moss with the Bengals, Saquon's with Eagles, Josh Jacobs to the Packers, Austin Eckler, Commanders, Tony Pollard with the Titans, DeAndre Swift went to the Bears, Devin Singletary with the Giants, Gus Edwards, Chargers, and Antonio Gibson to the Patriots. And it's like, I feel like any other time, a lot of those guys would have got released and still been sitting. It's something on the page where you said it. This is not a strong running back class, and that's why.
Bingo! I was waiting for you to say that one.
That's why a lot of these guys are getting jobs, or they're getting released and getting picked up immediately because there's not a. Like, and I'm looking at Dallas, and like you said, they don't have a lot of cap space. So now they have to draft a running back or use what they have left, which is nobody. But a lot of these players, once they got released, everybody was like, okay, cool. Saquon went to the Eagles. So that means Derrick Henry 9 times out of 10 is coming to Dallas. That's what everybody said. But I was like, Ravens have been, it was really the Ravens and Eagles that were on his radar really high since last year. That's where he wanted to get traded to, was either Philly, and Philly had DeAndre Swift at the time, so he didn't want to come in and knock him out. Ravens had Gus Edwards, but Gus, who was really good for them. I don't even want to say it like that. Gus was really good for them. That's why the Chargers went and grabbed him and said, "Hey, let's bring him here." Like, they felt confident about Austin Eckler being gone, bringing in Gus Edwards.
Well, the other thing too is Harbaugh, the younger one who actually coached at Michigan, because he's the younger brother that's coaching at the Chargers now. To me, he likes more of a power run game than a zone blocking scheme. And so a guy like a Gus Edwards would fit more in what he wants to mold that team into. So I think the Gus Edwards pickup for them is a good fit, because you get a big power back who can help you make that transition into the type of run game that you want to run with those big body receivers. Now, and you got Herbert. Now, I did hear that they're willing to listen to offers about Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. I saw that rumor out there. I don't know how serious it is. And honestly,
I think the 49ers are
Mac more than Bosa.
I think it's both, and it's because of the numbers.
The cap
the
number.
49ers are interested in both of them. Especially Bosa, because they're probably not. It looks like they're not going to keep Chase Young. He's a free agent, so they're not keeping him. But I don't think they're going to try to re-sign him.
He has
Panthers in New Orleans,
the Saints, the Panthers, and there was a third team that was named as well. It was the Saints, the Panthers, and I think he added. I think it's like the Titans or somebody that he added to the list. But I know it's the Saints and the Panthers that's on the list of him to visit.
I think Bosa getting to play with his brother. I think Nick is gonna try to like influence that a little bit to get Joey out there. I think you put the Bosa brothers on the ends with that 49er defense. That's crazy. Even with Khalil Mack in the middle, and like you make a trade for Khalil. Khalil still has some left. Veteran linebacker that still has power. And
the thing is, in the NFL now, the reason why those D linemen are getting paid, I kind of alluded to it earlier, but I didn't really get to finish that point. The reason why is because the emphasis on the pass game. The pass game has become so prevalent because you can't touch the quarterbacks, you can't touch the receivers. The game is being officiated and regulated to help create scoring. And so when you look at it, passers, pass catchers, pass protectors, and pass rushers are all guys that are going to they're all going to command a higher premium salary because of the emphasis on the pass game. And so what they're basically doing is they're putting a bigger emphasis on what these guys are doing. And that's why these guys are getting paid a premium salary, is to basically show up and show out. And that's why you see corners and receivers and rushers and things like that. They're getting paid the way they're getting paid. Running backs has been de-emphasized. So you're not seeing running backs get those big, stupid contracts like they used to get back in the day. Offensive linemen are starting to get paid out the wazoo. I mean, when you look at some of these offensive linemen that have either re-signed or changed teams, like they're getting paid as well. One that comes to mind, Onwenu, the Patriots re-upped him 3 years, $57 million. Tyron Smith is out there, and I'm pretty sure someone's going to pick him up because even though he's 33 and is dealing with a ton of injuries, there's just something about a good veteran left tackle that you just can't pass up. Same thing with Jonah Williams. Jonah Williams is only 26. I still think he has some decent football left in him. Same thing with Trent Brown. He's still out there. Kevin Zeitler is out there. Even though Zeitler's 34, Brown is 30, and I want to say Smith is 33. Those guys are a little bit older, but it's because they're offensive linemen. They can play a few more years and still give you some good football. But some of those guys have just had a ton of injuries, so it's kind of knocked their value down, even though they're kind of old, kind of not. It is what it is. Jonah Jackson was the other one that I was thinking about. Went from the Lions to the Rams, 3 years, $51 million. So you're seeing a lot of these offensive linemen that are getting paid simply because there's more emphasis on blocking and protecting these quarterbacks that you have to pay all of this money to, and these wide receivers that you have to pay all this money to and whatnot. So that's why you see a shift in philosophy on what teams are spending. I was looking at a team earlier, and I saw that they ended up they're right at about 240 or so million that they've spent under the cap. 160 of that is on offense, and only 80 or so of that is on defense. They've spent twice as much money on their offense as they have on their defense. And like that just goes to show you where some teams are placing their priority, because they know that side of the ball is the side of the ball that's going to, sell tickets. That's the side of the ball that the emphasis of the game is being coached and officiated on. So that's the side of the ball that we probably need to concentrate on. That's just that particular team's philosophy. I'm assuming because I see where they're spending their money at. But it's crazy to see like how teams are cutting guys and getting rid of this. And one thing that I wanted to explain to everybody is the way the cap works is the top 51 contracts count against your salary cap. Even though it's a 53-man roster, the only top 51 count against your salary cap. What teams will do is they will sign a guy to, let's just say, Xavier McKinney went from the Giants to the Packers, 4 years, $68 million at safety, right? I want to say he got like 40 or so million guaranteed. I can't remember exactly. But what they'll do is they'll structure his cap hits to line up with other cap hits that they have. And they may either stagger or alternate them or adjust them in a way where it lines up to where they can fit all these guys underneath the cap and not go over the cap. Yep. There's even one trick where they'll put stuff like bonuses and incentives and different things like that. Like there's all sorts of things that these teams do to manipulate the cap.
So that way they can hit the number and not have to worry about the NBA does it a little bit, but
right.
That's why they front end so much of the money in that first year, like you said, to alleviate the cap hit that they're going to end up taking in 5 years because they got like 30 people that's going to be coming up for contracts at the same time. You know what I mean?
So what they'll do is like I know there was one team, I can't remember, this was within like the last 5, 6, 7 years or so. They had these two guys that they end up extending, I want to say from the same draft class, right? And what they did was they made sure one guy's cap hit was like 30 million that year and the other guy's was like 5. And they alternated those two guys' cap hits to fluctuate those first like 3 years of each of their contracts. I can't remember the exact teams and the numbers. I just remember the situation where when I was looking at their cap numbers each year, you could see the team made sure, like, we know between these two guys, we can only commit X amount of dollars per year under the salary cap to fit everybody else in. So what we're going to do is we're going to fluctuate and alternate their cap hits in order to make sure we fit both guys underneath the cap. And in NFL contracts, what you have to pay attention to, it's not the overall number, it's the guaranteed money, number one, and where that guaranteed money comes in at number 2. Because if you sign a 4-year deal and all of your guaranteed money is on the first 2 years, that's basically a 2-year deal because there's no more guaranteed money. They can cut you and be done with you after those first 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So what you have to look at is the amount of guaranteed money that they're guaranteed and where that guaranteed money is being paid out at. And that will tell you where the dead cap hit is and where there's a potential out in that contract where a team will cut him and save that cap space, or they'll cut him and have a minimal or a whatever kind of cap hit. So when you look at what, like, for example, what the Broncos did with Russell Wilson, that $85 million cap hit, that's getting stretched over 2 seasons because of where they cut him at.
Yep.
And so it'll be, I think, like 39 or so 1 year and then like 46 or whatever the next year or something like that.
And it's crazy because the Steelers got him for a steal because they are like, he pretty much came in on some like, hey, bro, them people still got to pay me. Y'all ain't even got to give me that much. Like, I ain't even worried about it.
What happens is he's going to get that salary regardless. Whatever new team he signs will pay whatever portion of his salary up until that point. And his old team has to pay the balance of it. So basically what he's doing is like, I'm going to do y'all a favor and I'm going to sign for the vet minimum, which I believe is like 1.5 or 1.25 or something like that.
Yep.
The Broncos going to have to pay the other 30-something million.
Yep. Which was smart as shit, especially the way they did him. That's why, like, pretty much the Steelers ain't losing nothing by getting him. Nothing.
Not at all.
Like, I'm getting Russell Wilson for like 1 something because he wants to fuck the other team over.
Yeah.
Hey, come on. So it's gonna be an interesting season, man. As an Eagle fan, this offseason, these last 2 days have went crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
This has been wild, man. And I'm looking forward
Howie,
to seeing
I
the
don't
way
know
the
how
rest of
Howie
it
keeps
plays
doing it.
out.
Yeah,
Well,
because it's still a lot of people. There's still a lot of good players out there, and
yeah.
like we've said, week in and week out, the quarterback movement. We really didn't see too much. Kirk Cousins was the big one that came off. Russell Wilson. We kind of said once we figured out what Atlanta was going to do. I didn't really put the Steelers in that at all, but you know that's fine. I mean, I didn't think Russ was going to go. I don't know. I honestly didn't know where Russ was going. I kind of thought Washington. I thought Washington was a real front runner. But the Steelers is definitely a better look. Kirk Cousins going to Atlanta is good. It gives them a veteran quarterback, better than what they've had. I like the offense. I think this is a better. This might be a really, really good offense for him, to be completely honest. Similar to what he had in Minnesota. I'll say that. Not too different than what he had in Minnesota. Justin Jefferson's better wide receiver. I like Hawkinson at tight end better. Run game might be better with Bijan, but the Bears still hold all the cards of this offseason, even though I love everything they did in the last 24 hours as far as who they picked up. I think the Bears made some really amazing moves. But that quarterback one is the one.
What I'm looking forward to is to seeing, because like I said, all the tea leaves are pointing to them drafting Caleb Williams and looking for a trade partner for what's his name? Justin Fields.
Yeah, which it looks like the Raiders are the front runner right now.
Right. That's
but
the
it seems like
last
every week it's a new team that's a front runner. So
right. And
it was Atlanta for a while, and then they went and got Kirk, so now they're out.
Here's the thing. Like the rumor was Atlanta because it was like it's a young team. They got offensive pieces already to put around them or whatever.
I like Minnesota.
Can we just keep them together and this, that, and the third? And it's like, whatever. One team that I wouldn't mind seeing making a run at him would be Minnesota.
Yep.
That's if they decide to keep Jettas. If they decide to keep Jettas.
I don't think they're trading Jettas. If they're really about to just blow it up, I feel like you got to trade Jettas. You got to trade Hawkinson. If you're going to blow it up, blow it up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like if you bring in Justin, though, you keeping Jettas.
Yeah, I think so too. But I don't know, man. I'm like, are they okay? I put it to you like this: if they keep Jettas and they make a trade for like a Fields, or they bring in somebody or something like that, right? Let me see where they are in the draft. I want to say they're at like 11, if I'm not mistaken. They don't really have like a whole hell of a lot to go off of at quarterback. Yeah, they're at 11. So It's like, are you going to wait for the fourth quarterback? Because the first three are probably going to go. Caleb Williams, Drake May, and
Jaden Daniels. Yeah,
they'll probably be gone.
Bo Nix will probably be gone before 11 too. I'm gonna be honest. I think the Patriots, because the Patriots are somewhere in there. Yeah, Bo Nix is gone off that board too.
Yeah.
Before 10.
So like, I'm wondering, what do they do? Like, I mean, you have to have some sort of semblance of a franchise quarterback or some sort of plan in place for you to say, okay, I'm going to keep one of the best or the best wide receiver in the game on this team, and I'm not going to let him get away. Because by the time you figure out what you're going to do at quarterback and you bring him in and they get a chemistry with Jefferson, well, then he's probably going to be a little bit older or longer in the tooth.
Is JJ? You think JJ's there at 11? Is JJ a reach at 11?
I think he's a reach at 11, to be honest with you.
But if they're looking for a quarterback, those first, like we said, those first four are gonna those four are guaranteed to be gone. And it's crazy that the national championship quarterback is not the one in the. I always found that weird that a lot of times whoever wins the national championship, they're not even the quarterback in the discussion. And then the Heisman winning quarterback a lot of times isn't in that top 2 discussion, which is wild because Jaden probably should be higher rated, in my opinion, should be the number 1 quarterback off the board. To be real with you.
It's crazy because you look at, there's also been times where the Heisman winner is like, oh, okay, he may be okay. He's a good college quarterback, but does he translate to the NFL? And that's the thing that gets everybody is, how do you translate to the NFL? The good thing is that the league lately has gone more to certain concepts you see in college. So you're seeing a lot of these college concepts in the NFL way more frequently now than we did even 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. So now you're seeing more of these guys who had like some of these quote unquote gimmick style offenses and stuff. You're seeing that in the NFL now. So now it's easier to make that transition from college to the NFL. One thing that I think we'll continue to see is guys who they may win national championships. They may even win Heismans. But are those guys going to be high draft picks? Like lately, we've seen Heisman Trophy winners and stuff get drafted really high. But it's just going to be something that we need to figure out, and we're going to need to keep an eye on. Huh?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Because looking at that first round, hold on, am I muted? Did it mute again? Oh
no.
Looking at the first round, Chicago, Washington, and the Patriots all need quarterbacks. Arizona will probably take wide receiver. That's probably where MHJ comes off. Chargers, I could see them going wide receiver if he's still there, or tight end. But those first 3, definitely quarterback. And if the Giants really are letting Daniel Jones go, I don't see any other quarterback going past 6. Like Bo Nix. If Bo Nix is that 4th one, I don't see him going past 6.
I think there might be some reaches at quarterback with some teams like, it's starting with the Giants, I'll say the Giants may reach.
And I think that
the
might
Vikings
be the Bo
may
Nix
reach one. And the Broncos may reach.
Yeah. Because like
Raiders,
we just said,
possibly,
depending if they, because and this isn't after like the 5 quarterbacks, it really ain't nobody else after that, in my opinion. After JJ's the last one.
When you start to get down to it, but we're gonna keep an eye on all of that, all the draft process, the rest of free agency and whatnot. There's so much like to start looking forward to in the process. And I think after this first wave of free agency, I think next week's show we'll really be able to dig into and dive into this a little bit deeper, because you'll start to see where teams have signed guys, and so you'll start to see where more of their needs are in the draft. So as we get closer to the draft, and the further away from free agency we get and the closer we get to the draft, is when we'll be able to see kind of how teams' draft boards are going to line up. Because you'll see the needs that they may have filled in free agency and whatnot, and you'll see the guys they may have cut, so on and so forth, traded, whatever it is. So you'll see kind of like where their needs are lining up a little bit more. But as we wrap this up, I really don't have a rant for this week, to be honest with you. Like, just, you know what I'm saying? Love on your people, hug on them while you got them here, because you just never know when you don't have them here no more. Like, the whole reason why, like, I'll drink like my bourbon with some water in it, no ice or whatever, is because that's how my grandfather drank his. He would put a little ice, a little splash of water or whatever. That's how he drank his whiskey or whatever. The whole reason why I got a beer, why I get so pissed off when people say Rick Ross or James Harden or some dumb shit like that, is because my grandfather had a beer. He always made that shit look cool, so I always wanted one. So that's why I did that. That's why I wore my Saints t-shirt tonight, because Saints fan. You know what I'm saying? So just hug on and love on your people, man. You know what I'm saying? If you got kids, love on them babies. Just try to be nice to people. You know, do good, do right by people. That's all I got.
I ain't got nothing, man. That was perfect.
Hey, and on that note, we're going to end it with one of our favorite songs in play. It's been a week, I think, since we played it last. So I had to play it.
We just gonna end every show with Yeah Glow, because that shit go crazy.
Hey,
Curbing on curbing,
I be
baby.
by my bruh. I be sitting there in my office at work doing something, and I'll get off the phone with a client. I hang up, I'm like, yeah, bro, yeah. You know, yeah, hype. Got millions out there, rap shit, they hate a bitch, but they stole the flow. Get back in, back in, coming, fuck them, I stole the show. Real talk, though, for my boy Keyz, for myself.
That's crazy. Sloan comes in when we play this. That's wild.
Right? The sponsor Gel Blaster.
Yeah, Glow.
For the whole team at CDB Multimedia, for Sloan, Ray, Ahun, Marty, Kyle, everybody. Like, we appreciate y'all. We appreciate the love and all the support y'all give us every week. Follow us on the socials. It's at Sucio Sports with a Z, at Sucio _sports on Instagram. And it's at Sucio Sports all together with the Z on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, you can also click on our profile and find our YouTube link. So go to the YouTube page, hit the like, hit the subscribe, turn the notifications on, whatnot. Same thing on Twitter. Hit the follow button and hit the notifications button. You'll see all our tweets and everything, you know, live videos and everything pop up.
Also, we are still running the contest. I forget every week. I forgot last week, and I kind of forgot this week. We're still running the Gel Blaster contest.
Yes.
Follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, screenshot, and here. For those of you who aren't following the YouTube, follow the YouTube. Also, click the bell and the notification, because we want you to know when we go live. We love talking to you guys. We love interacting. So all of that, we do this for you guys, not just for us. We do it for y'all. But screenshot all of those things, DM it to us on any of the pages, our personal pages, which is at the bottom, or on the Sucio Sports page, and that enters you into the contest April 2nd. I think that's what I said, April 2nd, whatever that first Tuesday in April is. We will be doing the giveaway live on the air. We are giving away 3 different sets of Gel Blaster packs. So there are going to be 3 winners. There's a big winner, a middle winner, and then a little winner. But there are 3 different winners. So please, it's a great gift for your kids, for yourself. I use them. I shoot everybody. Allegedly. So yeah, that's that. That's all I got.
Right,
curbing on curbing, baby. Curbing on curbing.
For Keyz, for myself, for the whole team, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Thank y'all for the love and the support. We out.